Hello, students, and welcome to another screencast with Mr. Swan. What we're doing today is kind of finishing up the unit. I made you a climate review sheet. I think this is going to finish it up completely. I don't believe I'm going to give you a test for it because, well, the tests were kind of to prep you really for the regents, and if we're not really going to do that, then it's okay, I think, for us to move on. And I don't think you'll be that disappointed. Other things that are coming up, I'll talk to you about just a little bit, but I'm going to have a special guest speaker come in one day. I hope you guys will enjoy that. And let's go right on into picture of the day. I thought you might like a positive information picture of the day, so that's what I brought up to you. So this is called the leatherback sea turtle rebound, and what's happening in short is that they're finding more nests of leatherback sea turtles and their eggs than they pretty much have in quite some time. And I'll read this to you. So baby leatherback sea turtles are doing better than they have in years, possibly because people are staying off the beaches. One beach in Thailand, for instance, environmentalists have found 11 leatherback sea turtle nests since November, the largest number of nests found there in the past 2 decades. Likewise, on Florida's 9.5-mile-long Juneau Beach, marine life researchers found 76 leatherback sea turtle nests, a significant increase compared to the number of nests at this time last year. Leatherbacks are the largest living turtle on record. I should say alive. Currently alive. They live all over the world except for the polar regions, and pretty much one of their main food sources is underwater, where they dive deep in when they migrate really from nesting area to nesting area, and they find these hot spots of ginormous amounts of jellyfish, and they chow down and have a delicious meal. In a single reproductive session, mature females can lay between 3 and 10 clutches of 60 to 90 eggs each. That's a lot of eggs. However, most of the females wait about 2 years or more between reproductive cycles, and only a tiny percentage of these babies actually will survive. The rate is about 1 in 1,000. A lot of predators actually know where these egg nests actually will be, and sometimes they hang off the coast, kind of waiting for these turtles to hatch. There are birds that sometimes will swoop down and try to grab up the baby turtles as well. So they have a neat instinct that as soon as they hatch, they immediately head to water. And some of the things they found is that it looks like sometimes they head to light. And there are beaches over in like Waikiki Beach over in Hawaii. They have the ocean like on one side, and then they have with the beach, and then they have like a road, and they have like, a bunch of like tourist hotels. Around this time when they have these sea life creatures coming up and actually laying their eggs there, the hotels actually will dim like all the lights. They'll turn off like any kind of outdoor like bright light, so the baby sea turtles don't get confused on which way to actually go when they hatch. And their goal is to make it in the water as fast as they can. So the faster they can, the higher rate of survival. And this story comes from this website. This is called marinelife.org. This is a group mostly based well, at least the biggest one that I know of is mostly based actually over in Australia. But they actually have different centers like around. So there's actually like one in Florida. But what they do and what they're doing right now is actually they have virtual classrooms. And so if you go down here, it says virtual classroom. You click it. Every day, or just about every day, they'll actually have one of their people come on up, and they'll do a little bit of a lesson of maybe sometime between about 15 minutes to 30 minutes or so on something that they do at that wildlife center. And so for this case, this is one person. So on April 20th, they talked about the leatherbacks. And so if you were to click it, and they'll start to talk. And they kind of give like a lesson of like what's kind of going on over in these places. And they've been doing this a whole bunch of times. They get like different people to come on up, and they go through and try to bring up different things that they're doing. So kind of a neat thing to watch one day if you're actually looking for something to do. I know this place is doing it. I know the Cincinnati Zoo is doing like an animal of the day as well. So there's lots of these zoos that are trying to keep people informed and trying to keep people aware of all the work that they're doing. So definitely something to check out if you have the time. So for your lesson today, this is actually a little bit of the screen that you actually will see when it comes on up for your lesson. I figured I'd read one part for you. Is that we are going to finish up our climate unit, so I made this small review sheet for you. I'll get to that in just a second, but this is a little bit of in the future. Your guest speaker. So I was able to schedule an astronomer. Her name is Dr. Valerie Rabson. She's the director and astronomer at the Dudley Observatory, and she's going to come and talk to you guys doing a question and answer session about space. and any kind of astronomy topics. She is able to do that on May 6th at 10:15 to 11 a.m. So it's only a tiny little window. I'm very happy that that we can get her on here at all. So this is, I don't usually do mandatory Google Meets. This will be a mandatory one. So you're expected to show up. I'm going to invite all my classes there to go and kind of and hear what she has to say, and maybe we can try to give out some questions, which will be a lesson for you guys coming up on Wednesday. My Wednesday assignment will be in preparation for this, and so you'll have some questions to do, some background information of, like, you know, what she does. And one thing that you'll have to do is to figure out how to be there. So this is at 10:15 to 11 a.m. I believe that's during block 2 time of a normal actual school day. You might have another class. I'm sorry. I consider this almost like a field trip. Try to figure out some way to be there. So this is on May 6th. So this is about 2 weeks or so away. So talk to your teachers if you're thinking you might have that time. Schedule, try to reschedule, try to make sure that you're there. This is one thing I think is pretty interesting, and I don't think you really should miss it. And so if you can't be there during that live discussion with her, I will make an alternate assignment for you. So if there's one way that you like absolutely cannot be there for something's going on, there's no way you can get around it, and you can't, absolutely cannot be there. You need to email me by May 4th. So really pretty much the end of May 3rd by midnight at the most. And I'm going to give you an alternate essay assignment to do to kind of make up for that time that you would have lost actually listening to her speak and asking questions. So make sure, if you cannot come to that, email me about that. You cannot email me about that on May 5th or on May 6th. It must be by the end of the day, May 3rd. So really important. I put that in there as well. Wednesday, we'll talk a little bit more about this and about that meeting and what you're going to do and kind of to prepare for that. And that's going to be it for that. So if your assignment for today is a climate review sheet, not too long. It's about 2 pages or so, except my diagram got big and kind of went off to the 3rd page. But in theory, it was supposed to be about 2 pages. Same thing as always. I'm kind of walk you through this. So if you don't really need to be walked through, that's okay. I guess you can stop the video now, but if you want to hear what I have to say, feel free to stay on. And so here's how it works. Please use a different color font or bold your answers when answering these questions. Please use a different color font or bold your answers. It's very, very hard for me to sometimes find the answers if people start typing like right along here in the same font. So write your name on it. And then it's kind of a little bit of review from the unit. I don't think, honestly, it's going to be that difficult. What is insolation? Some factors that affect insolation. Kind of goes into what angle of sunlight would it be if it was direct sunlight, and why don't we ever get that angle in New York? It kind of goes into what color absorbs energy at a really quick rate, and then it would also radiate it out at a quick rate. What color reflects it very, very well and really does not absorb it as fast? Things like that. How does that relate to grass, snow, and forest cover? Which one is going to absorb more sunlight, which one is not going to absorb as much? Just a quick name of greenhouse gas, and then I threw this diagram on there for you towards the end. This is what is called the imaginary continent, and so how this is to be read is the latitude. Imagine that they found some kind of continent on our world, and everything else is the same. It's just that you have a new landmass there. So like 0 degrees latitude is the equator, then 30 degrees north, 60 degrees north, 30 degrees south, 60 degrees south. The wind currents, the general prevailing winds, go and kind of match this. So in America, we're about like 42, 43 degrees latitude. So we'd be considered up here like in New York, and our wind usually goes from west to east, such as does in this diagram. The dots with the letters, those are supposed to represent cities. And there's no cold currents or warm currents listed on here for water, but you can kind of imagine where they'd be. Cold currents are usually, in the northern latitudes and southern latitudes. Warm currents are usually by the equator. And so some of the questions are, what city is experiencing the orographic effect out of all these? And so for an orographic effect, there could also be more than one right answer, by the way. Means that you need to have wind coming off of the ocean, right? And then eventually going up over the mountain, and then eventually going back on down the other side, and then that side where it's going up is getting the orographic effect. That's what's getting a whole bunch of the rain. The opposite side of that would be getting a whole bunch of, no rain, so we call that rain shadow. So where would that actually be? So go ahead and kind of like label those answers right on there. So the letter for the city and plus a little explanation, and it'll be done. So some of the questions could be about that. Another one is, why does city D get a lot of rain? City D is right here. There are a variety of reasons why it could get a lot of rain. I'm not going to spoil any answers for you, but make sure you take a look at the latitude. It could be really important in its location, near like a large body of water or by some mountains. Might be really important. So like which cities could be in the coldest based on elevation, not latitude, elevation. So take a look for a city in the mountains for that one. And so answer a couple of these questions. If you have any trouble with it, make sure to send me an email and I'll walk you right on through it. And that should be pretty good. I think we'll do office hours the same as last week. I think I'll do it on Tuesday. That worked out pretty well. And so I'll make another little post in the classroom for that. Besides that, I hope everybody's doing well. This is getting towards the end of April. And it's been a little rainy, but hopefully so someone will come on out. Hopefully, and take a look at some of the past assignments. The Earth Day assignment worked out pretty well. I think people were pretty happy about that. I got some nice responses back from that one. Besides that, hope you're having a great day and hope you're doing well. And I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.